My name's Ely Delaney, and I have the honor of meeting some pretty cool people. These are the entrepreneurs, the artists, the creatives, the game changers that are making a positive impact in the people that they meet. And I'm a firm believer that the people that you meet can get you anywhere you want to go. And this show is my way of sharing them with you. It's my way of also helping you meet cool people.
All right, welcome back, everybody. Eli here, and I wanted today to talk to you about win-win relationships. Now, we've heard that phrase, we need to create a win-win situation before, and a lot of times that has to do with sales, right? But every relationship you have needs to be set up in a win-win. The problem with that is a lot of times people try to think of it as a negotiation or a compromise scenario. And sometimes there will be some of that. But I want you to stop and think about, in your world, the business connections that you have. And to be perfectly honest, this applies to personal as well. But primarily, we'll talk about business because I know most of you are actually in business. But what does a win-win situation actually look like? You know, for a lot of people, that win-win is I send you business, you send me business. Okay, there's nothing wrong with that. So that's a referral relationship, and that's great. That should be it. But that's not always going to be the case. And there are going to be times, and I know I've been here, I've been in this situation where I just don't have referral connections for somebody. Yet I have a lot of respect for them. I want to stay connected to them, and I'm doing what I can to find different ways that I can add value to that person's life, because the whole point of a win-win is that there's value on both sides of the relationship. Now, that doesn't mean it's an X for Y situation. It may not be a kind for kind. You know, think of a barter system where, you know, I have eggs and you have beef and we're trading. Sometimes it's not like that. If it is, great. There's nothing wrong with that. But sometimes it's not. Sometimes we do have those referral kind of situations. But there's a lot of different things you can do. And the goal with it is to make sure that somehow you're giving as much as you're getting. It just doesn't have to be in the same currency. And that's what I wanted to really go into some detail with today, because the currency could be a little bit different because people's values are different. What they need and what they value could be very, very different things than what you need and what you value. And so the goal is figuring out how can it still be a win relationship where they feel they're getting something out of the relationship, even if it's not, you know, financial or something like that. So here's a couple of things we can talk about. Number one is referrals. That's always the first one. That's the low-hanging fruit kind of situation. So if I know of somebody who could use your services, sending them to you, connecting them with you is obviously going to be top of mind. Now, the kicker with that is it needs to not be forced. I'm not going to be sending people to you that I don't think are a good fit, whether that be, do I think that you are the right person to help them, or are they qualified to work with you? You know, I mean, one thing I have just recently had a situation where I had a potential referral for somebody, but as I had more of the conversation, I was like, okay, this person is not going to be a good referral source or good referral to this other person, because the person I'd be sending to them is cheap and they don't listen. So it's not a good fit. I'm not going to send that to somebody else and have them potentially have a bad experience over somebody that I sent their direction. And that could happen on the vice versa too. If I see somebody who might be great at a job, but they're just a pain in the rear, I'm not going to send somebody to them if I don't trust that it's going to be a good experience, or maybe they're not a great person. I mean, I've had that before too, where somebody says, please send me referrals. And I'm like, I wouldn't refer anybody to you because you're not good enough. You know, and sometimes that happens. Okay. So referrals are one. But the other thing is looking at other ways. And one of them that has been really good, especially in the internet marketing space, is eyeballs, which means, you know, let me help share you to my people. Now, here's a great example of this. On this podcast, I have guests that I have brought on this show. And the reason I got them on the show is because I think that they had something great to offer to the world. And so my goal with this is every one of you that's listening gets exposed to that person and their skills and their magic. And hopefully, if you need what they have, you'll give them a holler. And you might learn something good from them. And so, is that a guaranteed sale? Absolutely not. But I want it to be a good thing where I can help them get in front of some new people, some new faces, new eyeballs. And for you as the listener or the person watching the video, or whatever format you're using, you're going to get some value out of it. And so to me, that's a win-win situation. Another one could be opening doors. That's the introductions. And the fun thing is that sometimes that just happens. So I've had times where I've talked to people and they bring up something. I was like, well, I know so-and-so. Would you be interested in, me having a conversation or introducing them to you or introducing you to them? Or sometimes just out of the blue, I'll do it. I've been at events and people have been like, oh, so-and-so is going to be here. And like, well, I know them. You want to meet them? Let's go. And I go introduce them to them. Okay. So introductions, opening doors for people. These are a really big thing that you can do. And here's the thing with that. And the opening doors or introductions and the eyeballs thing kind of go crossover. And you may not have like a high level kind of introduction. You may not have a podcast or anything like that. But if somebody posts something of value and you like what they're posting, comment, share it out. And don't just share it. Comment on that share. Post, hey, this is my friend. They just did something. This is really cool. It's a great example of this. I think it was just this last week. Lisa Mannion, who was on this podcast early on, very good friend of mine. She posted something about using love. Basically, how do you add love to the world? And it was a really great post. I loved it. So I commented on it immediately, and then I had to torment her because it wasn't shareable. So I had to go. I was like, hey, make it shareable because I want to share this. And immediately, as soon as I saw that I could, I shared it out and I added some advice. It was, hey, this is your public service announcement of the day. Great post. This is why it's important. Go read it. Did she ask me to do that? Absolutely not. I wanted to do that. I saw it and I wanted to. And so things like that sometimes. By the way, if you're posting stuff, add your own 2 cents worth. That's really important. Okay. Both from a standpoint of your own personal branding, but also to add value to the whole process, as opposed to just sharing it, commenting and saying, okay, this is why this is good or something like that. It does make a difference. Okay. So those are things that you can do. Sometimes I get people that share my stuff. Sometimes I'll share their stuff and nobody asked me for it. And I didn't ask them for it. And I am always appreciative. And I know that, to me, that's a win for me. And if I can share their stuff, I know that that's going to be a win for them. Okay. The other thing could be business advice. So I have some clients who they have been, I wouldn't even call them clients. I mean, technically they're not clients because they didn't pay me, but the relationship that I have with them, there's something that they did to help me. Maybe it was a referral. Maybe it was, we had a great conversation. They put me on their podcast. They opened up speaking doors, whatever. And there's a lot of different things people have done for me. And sometimes how I can help them, I may not be able to open up doors for them because I just don't have the right connections that specific person needs. But I can look at something that they're doing as like, hey, you know what? Here's something you should do. And I'll give them some advice. And that's based around my experience, my knowledge. This is the stuff that people pay me for. But I'm going to give them the game. I'm going to tell them what to do, how to do it. Sometimes I've even just done some stuff for them. I've gotten on calls with people and I was like, hey, just share your screen. Let's do this. And we just do something right then and there. And for me, whatever it was they did added value to my life. So this was a way that I could add value back to their life. And so all of these things, it doesn't have to be one specifically for another thing. It's like you do what you can, how you can. But you want to make sure that it's always a give and a get scenario. You might be getting something of monetary value, but if you don't have something in monetary value to give back, figure out how else can you do it. Because you want to make sure you're always adding value, no matter what it is. And the last thing I want to put on here, and sometimes this is way, way overlooked, that giving could be just listening to somebody. Maybe they're struggling. Maybe they're having a bad day. Maybe they're having a bad year, and we've all been there before. And that person was there for you, or you were there for them when they needed it. I know a great example of this on a personal standpoint. When I was going through some really, really rough stuff, I had a couple people that I had nothing else to give them, but I gave them, literally gave them, frameworks and templates and basically the coaching that I would give somebody who was going to be paying me. And the thing that I got in exchange was them just being there for me when I needed somebody to talk to. And guess what? To me, that was a fair, almost lopsided in my favor thing. I felt that I got the value that I needed, and I was perfectly okay with that. I've had that happen on the other side too, where I've been there listening to somebody else. And the stuff they gave me might have been, in a monetary kind of standpoint, or maybe they were giving me business advice. That's what they normally charge for or whatever. But I just listened to them and gave them peace of mind. It wasn't business advice. It was just life advice kind of stuff. Or I was there and just let them rant because they needed somebody to vent to. And that was a fair exchange. So I want you to stop and think about this, because this is such a powerful thing, and we all should be doing it. But we have to stop and make sure that it is a win-win situation. And so think about the people who've been there to impact you, to help you. And what have they done for you, however that looks. And then stop and think about, what have you done for them as well? Now, it doesn't have to be something big. Don't freak out about this and think, oh my gosh, I have to add all these different things, or I need to, share 552 of their posts or anything like that. It's just do something. Make sure that they know that you appreciate what they've done for you. That's really what it's about. It's not a matter of a tit for tat kind of situation. It's a matter of knowing that both people get value out of it. There are times where I will give advice, especially in the business advice kind of situation. And for me, knowing that I was able to help that person, and most importantly, knowing that that person was appreciating me, was the thing that made the difference. So with that said, I hope everything is helpful here. I hope this made sense. Love to hear your thoughts and ideas. And as always, if there's anything I can do to help you out, reach out and let me know. Take care.
My name's Ely Delaney, and I have the honor of meeting some pretty cool people. These are the entrepreneurs, the artists, the creatives, the game changers that are making a positive impact in the people that they meet. And I'm a firm believer that the people that you meet can get you anywhere you want to go. And this show is my way of sharing them with you. It's my way of also helping you meet cool people.